Welcome back to the Diamond Comic
Comic
Bros.
Bros podcast.
Oh. Gosh.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I'm your host, Collin. Not joined by Spencer. I always say last names.
You do, and Jacob gives you shit for it every time.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast.
Collin is joined by me, Spencer.
Jacob is not here,
he's dead right
and
now?
Spencer is joined by his grave.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm here alone.
Yeah, we have Jacob's corpse in the corner. Say hi. Yeah, he's dead. He's busy doing some things. He had a bit of a family emergency.
Yeah, back home in the grave.
Yeah, in the ground.
Yeah.
Back in where all the dwarves come from.
He's an elf.
Well, he's not.
Yeah, he's an elf.
I don't think so.
He's a little elf baby.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's an elf. My dad always says he's an elf, and everyone knows him as an elf now.
Interesting.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
We have a lot of news. So,
I'm fucking pissed.
Just jumping into it. Colin, go first. Trust me.
Okay. From DC.com, the Max original adult animated special Harley Quinn, a very problematic Valentine's Day special, debuts Thursday, February 9th on HBO Max. Synopsis: as Harley goes to obsessive lengths to ensure that her first Valentine's Day with Ivy is the best ever, Bane's efforts to impress an unexpected date go horribly awry. Meanwhile, after an unfortunate online dating encounter, Clayface engages in some self-love. Oh no!
I'm quite looking forward to this.
This shit is so gay. I love it.
I love it. I binged through season 3 in like a week. Maybe that's not binge. It was like 3 days. And it was a shorter season than the last two, which is annoying. I have a feeling they might be killing time to find out if they're getting... They already said they're getting renewed for a 4th season, but that was before DC Shakeups. Version 87,240.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think they might be, like, killing time to see if they're going to get canned before they go into production on the next season. Maybe. Just an idea. Making it, like, a double episode-long Valentine's Day special is cute, though. Why not? They're gay.
Yeah, sure.
They do a little mwah, so, like, why not?
Mwah, flicky.
From Marvel.com, in 2021, Marvel Comics dared to venture into the terrifying, unrelenting world of the Alien and explore never-before-seen corners of the iconic horror/science fiction franchise to the delight of longtime fans and newcomers. This bold age of Alien comics storytelling will continue this April with an all-new ongoing Alien series by superstar creators Declan Shalvey and Andrea Briccardo. I'm dumb. Briccardo. The pair will continue the riveting work that Philip Kennedy Johnson and artist Salvador Larroca and Julius Ota began as they uncover dark new horrors of the alien mythos. This exciting new chapter of the Alien legacy will introduce a new cast of characters on a remote world in search of a groundbreaking scientific breakthrough. Word of advice, don't have sex in space. It's the worst thing you can do. Just start there. Don't fuck. They'll have to quickly decide if their mission is worth it when night falls and they find themselves hunted by the legendary xenomorph. It's incredibly exciting to take on such a brilliant franchise. The potential for great stories is limitless, Shalvey said. I feel like the themes from the films remain quite relevant today, which makes me feel like we're able to tell contemporary stories set in that iconic universe. I'm very much hoping to channel the mood and atmosphere of those films while doing something new, and Andrea has done an incredible job of putting the reader in that recognizable world. With this new series, I think we'll have a really interesting addition to the lore of Alien. Dive into the next thrilling Alien saga this April. So Jacob and I actually read the first chunk of the last run. Had mixed feelings on it, but it is incredibly weird that, like, because, well, Disney owns godforsaken everything, Marvel Comics have, like, multiple iconic 80s franchise comics running at the same time. Like, we have an Alien run, we have a Predator run. Planet of the Apes is starting up again soon. Like, there's constantly a bunch of, like, old franchises which are being published by Marvel. It's just weird.
Huh.
Sounds like a solid team. Sir.
From comicbook.com, the Titans are stepping up to replace the Justice League in the DC universe, and they're doing it in a new ongoing series. Titans comes from the fan favorite creative team of Tom Taylor and Nicholas Scott, who previously worked together on Earth 2. Tom Taylor is currently writing Dick Grayson's adventures in Nightwing, and its 100th issue teased the reformation of Titans in Bloodhaven. The new Titans series spins out of the events of Nightwing number 100 and Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, with the Justice League alive again, but taking a backseat to the former sidekicks. Tom Taylor and Nicholas Scott spoke to Popverse about Titans and how they're helping to transition the team past the Hallmark, Marv Wolfman, and George Perez run. I think we're just fulfilling the promise, Taylor said. It's always been there. There's been so many storylines, so many moments over the decades where people have said, you will step up and you will be the premier superior team. You will be the next Justice League. And then it just doesn't happen. The amount of times that Batman has told Nightwing that he will lead, or that Superman told him that he will lead, and it didn't happen. Finally, now in 2023, the Titans get to step up and be the premier superhero team of the DC Universe. So it's ridiculously exciting that we finally get to fulfill that. Taylor added how the Titans will continue to operate in their signature manner and not try to emulate the Justice League. There's a moment in issue 1 where Nightwing responds to authority, and Batman would always do that in a certain way. But Nightwing is just like, yeah, but we can work together if you want. We don't need weird antagonist relationships. It's very difficult. It's a very different feeling. Ugh. It's a very different feel, a very different dynamic, he said. And I love that as this group of characters comes together to fill the shoes of the Justice League, the vacancy that the Justice League are leaving, they're not deciding to call themselves the Justice League. They're 100% the Titans, Nicholas Scott said. So they're not the Justice League, but they're just the Titans. But they are the Justice League.
They're taking the place of the Justice League in terms of DC Publishing's like team book, but they're not. Yeah, not you guys are now the Justice League. So this is weird. I get there's some people that are there's some people that are annoyed in some ways, which I kind of understand because, like, obviously this has been teased a bajillion times. You know, like all of these characters have been doing other stuff for so long. Nightwing's been Nightwing for like 30 years now. Wally West Flash has a wife, 2 children, and has been the Flash, the main man, for like decades in the comics, especially during that time where Barry just dipped off the face of existence for like 15 years.
Yep.
So like I get why people think it's like too little too late. I can kind of understand that, but I think with comics it is it's just kind of part of the medium. Like it will, if
Too
any
little too late to be the Justice League?
not like it's like it's a frustration of like, so now you're gonna do it, but like how, I don't know, it's just like a hesitancy of like, how is this creative team gonna pull this off, because we've been asking for this for so long, and it almost feels like you don't want it anymore, because comics are cyclical. We know this. Time is flexible. DC reboots all the time. Marvel just shoves everything in one continuity. So like the constant fluctuation of like age and growth and development is always all over the place. So I get like when they finally actually do a progression, you hesitate because you're like, are they going to actually commit to it, or are they going to backtrack in 5 minutes? Like it happens constantly. But I think with just the general vibe that DC's been pushing, I think it's going to stick. Obviously, 12 months later, the Justice League will be back. Like that's not up for debate. Duh. Like it's going to be like a 12-issue run. They say it's an ongoing, but like it's the Justice League. But I like the idea of, one, obviously just them. They're all like...
So this changes nothing.
Yes and no.
No, it doesn't change.
It allows them, because they're not the league. All the league members are still there, but because of all the stuff of the last event, they're just like, we're tired. We're gonna go take a big nap. I don't want to be in a team right now. So they're just gonna all go do their own stuff. And now the Titans, because the Titans they're all in like soft age of like their late 20s, early 30s now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
none of them are close to being Teen Titans anymore. So it makes sense for them to fill the shoes, but
Yeah.
they're not the League. They've been part of the League. All, like half the members of the Titans right now have been part of the League at some point in its history. But it's nice that it's like the iconic team, but like they are actually all grown up. Not just some of them are grown up, like Nightwing or Wally. They are all grown up now, like Rugrats. You follow? Maybe.
Sure, but like, why are we like marketing this as they're the new Justice League when it's literally not that? They're just
They are though.
they're
because-
not. They're just older. They're just Titans. They're
Well, that's
just
the
the
point.
old Titans.
I think you're confusing the difference between in continuity and like how DC publishing works. There isn't a Justice League book. There will not be a Justice League book for probably 12 months, maybe 2 years tops.
Okay.
And the Titans book is the big DC premier team book now. It's like, guys, look, they're all adults. They're taking the place of the League in universe, and we're pushing them. But of course,
Yeah, and
because
that's my
it's
problem.
why
Is
though?
that how long is that gonna last? Are they actually going to make that a thing? Like keep it a thing?
I think
No,
they're
it's just
duh.
a thing for the moment.
Of course it is. It's comics. That is part of the deal. Sadly,
No,
but
I-
like it's not being.
in that sense, then it doesn't change a thing. It's just, hey, here's our big book for the moment. Oh yeah, we're gonna go back to Justice League. Sorry.
Well, what about when Nightwing was Batman? When Batman was dead for a while. This happens all the. Did that not? Was that not still an important stepping stone when he had to fill those shoes for like 2 or 3 years in comics?
Sure, yeah.
That was a thing. But
They're
we
not,
knew he was
they're not filling
eventually.
the steps for Justice League. It's just they're still just Titans.
No, they're still.
They're filling an our world thing, not an actual in continuity thing.
It's both. So
It's
if
not.
when I don't know, Mongol comes to Earth or whatever, they're not calling the League because the League is disbanded. They're calling the Titans. The president of the UN presses the button on the statue, and it calls Dick Grayson. That's the point. You're a goofball.
No, I'm not.
From DC.com, the year-long publishing initiative Dawn of DC officially kicked off yesterday with the release of Action Comics 1051 from the superstar creative team of Philip Kennedy Johnson, Rafael Sendova, Dan Jurgens, Lee Weeks, Lee Williams, and Margaret Savage. Through the year, fans can expect epic new storylines, creative superstar teams, and supervillains that will push the superheroes beyond their limits. Today, DC is announcing new creative teams on 3 upcoming Dawn of DC titles: Titans, Green Lantern, and Cyborg. We just talked about the Titan bit. The visionary team of Jeremy Adams and Zermenko from Flashpoint Beyond present a tale of redemption, loss, and finding out that maybe you can go home again in Green Lantern. Spinning out of the events of Dark Crisis on the Infinite Earths, the Guardians of Oa at the heart of the Green Lantern Corps have quarantined Sector 2814, home of planet Earth, and its champion along with it. A heartbreaking defeat has sent Hal reeling, returning home to rediscover his roots and find the man responsible for ruining his life, Sinestro. At least, if he's willing to hotwire a power ring to do it. Green Lantern #1 is available at local comic book shops on May 9th and also features part 1 of the John Stewart Green Lantern run from writer Philip Kennedy Johnson and artist Osvaldo Montos. A war journal epic begins anew. Writer Morgan Hampton from the Milestone Initiative Talent Development Program joins forces with veteran artist Tom Rainey from Green Lantern and Uncanny X-Men to give Cyborg the Dawn of DC epic he deserves starting on May 16th. When a family emergency brings Cyborg back home to Detroit, Victor Stone surprisingly finds himself enjoying returning to the simpler life where everybody sees him for who he really is and always was, rather than a larger-than-life superhero. It's been a while since Vic's been able to lower his guard and seek a purpose outside of being Cyborg 24/7, but a lot has changed in Detroit while Victor's been away. An aggressive new company is turning the Motor City into an overclocked engine for revolutionary artificial intelligence, and no one knows better than Cyborg that technological transformation always comes at a steep human price. Fans can also get a preview of what's to come for Cyborg in Hampton's story in DC Power: A Celebration, which was available on January 31st. I did read that. They're just announcing more stuff on the slate. I am interested in the Green Lantern run, not just because, oh my god, Green Lantern, oh my god, my favorite thing ever.
Oh my god, Green Lantern.
But I love it when they do weird stories, when it's not just like, I don't know, the team of Green Lanterns are like doing stuff in space and like, dang, we found an alien race. We'll have shenanigans, you know? Like I like those types of stories. but I like it when they do weird shit. Like the Earth 1 books were kind of crazy. Jacob talked about those recently, and I like that this is like the art that they've released for it. It's a bunch of like Sinestro wearing a hoodie. It's an incredibly strange phenomenon, but like the making an Earthbound Green Lantern story sometimes can miss the entire point of Green Lantern is that like he's a space cop from space.
Yes.
But sometimes it can really nail down like the character work. A lot of the early parts of Jeff Johns' run from like the mid 2000s had a lot of that sort of stuff, and I like the whole what what are you without your powers type stuff. Like well, what if your ring doesn't work? Like what even are you, bro? Are you even a lantern, bro? Do you even fly, bro?
For real.
But also hot wiring a ring sounds like fun. So I don't even know how that works. Like who do you call, like Zatanna or something?
The hot wire ring.
Yeah, like hot wiring a Green Lantern ring. How does that work?
What are lantern rings made out of?
Good question. Like
I'm
where do
you don't even know?
Well, it depends because every run it's a different
Yeah.
explanation.
Okay.
Sometimes the rings aren't even like exactly real. Sometimes like the rings are a construct made by like the main power battery. So
I like that.
It really just depends.
I like that. They're just a construct.
It's in your mind, man.
It's in your mind. All right, so exclusive from ew.com. That's gay. Lex Luthor is coming for revenge on Superman and Lois. Ew can exclusively reveal that Michael Cudlitz, The Walking Dead Southland, has been cast on the CW's Superman drama as a new version of the iconic DC Comics supervillain in Season 3. According to the official character description, Cudlitz, Lex Luthor, is known to the world as the visionary billionaire behind LexCorp, but secretly the criminal underworld knows who Lex truly is. A brutal psychopath who terrorizes anyone he crosses paths with. When Lex debuts this season, it's been years since he dropped out of the public eye, and he's re-emerging hell-bent on correcting a personal injustice by enacting revenge on the two people he feels have wronged him, Superman and Lois Lane. Didn't we already get a Lex Luthor?
So I was gonna mention that. Because I don't follow obviously the CW stuff very much, basically at all, other than Superman and Lois. I don't remember since the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover they did, which was garbage. I don't remember if Supergirl and Superman are still in the same continuity, because in that we did get a Lex Luthor for Supergirl. He was fine. I think he died. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about in the first season of Superman and Lois that one of the main guys was...
I don't believe so.
Yeah, he was Lex
If
Luthor.
he was, it might have been a placeholder then. Like, we don't actually know who we're gonna have. Like, it was like a temporary decision or something.
He basically looked like he was Steel.
Weird.
Like he had that metal suit and he's from the future.
No, there is Steel on Superman and Lois.
I know, but this was like
weird. It's been like 2 years since I watched the first season. I don't remember, man. But Michael Cudlitz is what's his name? Abraham from Walking Dead.
Oh shit!
I see it.
Ginger?
Yeah, I see
Oh
it.
shit, what the fuck?
One Ginger Lex Luthor, we winning. But I see the vision, especially just with them explicitly saying like he's been involved in the underworld and like he can just he'll just go Joker mode and like kick the shit out of people like that.
Oh, so he's Kingpin.
Basically,
He's just Kingpin.
I for a show, Superman and Lois is incredibly bizarre in how it does everything. Like it's not some like quintessential Superman show. It does weird shit, but most of it works. I'm down. I also think Superman and Lois is going to be getting canceled because basically everything is getting canned and restarted. I just think
except for Teen Titans Go.
Yes, because that shit makes so much fucking money.
Yeah.
But I think Superman and Lois, they just didn't announce it yet because the third season hasn't started airing yet. So I think they wanted to get it on air before they announced that they're probably canceling it. Yeah. Is my strong gut feeling because of our next story, or actually our two next stories. From MSN.com, Titans and Doom Patrol, the DC Comics dramas that were originally developed to help launch the former DC Universe streaming service, are coming to an end. The current fourth seasons of both of the Greg Berlanti-produced HBO Max dramas will be their last, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. Sources say producers on both Titans and Doom Patrol saw the writing on the wall amid all the changes with DC Entertainment and plotted their current seasons with proper endings so as not to leave fans in a lurch.
Oh, so we are getting proper ending seasons.
Yes, thank God.
Oh,
Because
okay.
at first I was getting a little nervous because I've been following. Sadly, I did watch Titans season 4 with the first half because the second halves aren't released yet.
I
But
didn't watch season 3.
just don't. It's my I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it anyways.
I might do it too, just because everyone keeps asking me stupid questions.
Titans season 4 is much worse than season 3. Season 3 was like okay, but Doom Patrol has been great this season.
Yeah,
like,
I'm excited to keep watching.
oh my gosh, it's so good. But I'm very annoyed with them splitting the seasons in half. I've always disliked that type of a release schedule. Not some shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had this where like the two halves were basically two different seasons. Like they had entirely different villains and themes and whatever, you know. This is clearly like they didn't just. It's just the middle of the show. They just need a break for whatever reason, and it's not to like go film more stuff. They produced it as one season, and they're just breaking it up for release. It's not like a on the showrunner or whatever. That's like whoever's running HBO Max for this week, you know. But it is nice that they're getting an ending. It also makes sense with the direction the characters have been going in season 3 and 4. It feels like we're coming. It's like even if they could keep going, I feel like 5 would be the wall. You know, the inevitable.
Usually
TV.
5 seasons are.
5 is like the end. It's like you've done everything you can without being repetitive or stretching out too much filler. Titans. The only reason I'm sad about it is just because it is such a shame for such usually a pretty good cast. You know, for that insane show. Like it's a garbage show, but most of the cast members are pretty good. Not necessarily because all of them feel like they're on a different show from each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
in a vacuum, each one of them is almost all of them are like fine to really good. Like Brenton Thwaites as Dick Grayson is a great casting, but also why would you waste them on this bad source material? Because now
Also,
half these people are going to be too old to play these roles ever again. It's just kind of annoying.
Well, we need mullet. I need Nightwing with the fucking mullet.
No.
No, I mean like the long hair. You know the photo I showed you of him. The edit.
I know.
Wow, that was great.
It's not a mullet. But it's definitely
Whatever.
It's
Long hair.
It's a haircut. That's for sure. Maybe they'll do it at some point.
From MSN.com, Pennyworth has been canceled at HBO Max after 3 seasons, Variety has learned. The 3rd season, officially titled Pennyworth, The Origin of Batman's Butler, was the first season of the show to originate on HBO Max. The series originally debuted on Epix in 2019, with season 2 airing on that channel in 2 chunks in 2020 and 2021. Seasons 3 launched on HBO Max in October 2022. So I can't believe it lasted 3 seasons.
This show is the craziest thing ever put to screen.
The Origin of Batman's Butler.
You know, I love that they felt the need to change the title for season 3 because people didn't know what it's about. So the first season is actually pretty good, and it's fine. It was originally planned as a Gotham prequel. I know, a prequel to a prequel. Like, how many more layers do we go? But the 2 kind of fell off. And I haven't finished season 3, but I'm aware of the fact they include V for Vendetta bullshit. So Alan Moore is just rolling over in his grave that he sleeps in because Alan Moore isn't dead yet. What are you doing? The show is so off the rails. I know that I saw it on Twitter, sadly. The last scene of the show is Alfred getting married and then a nuke going off. What the fuck is this TV show?
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's probably good. It's getting canceled, so there's a fresh slate, you know, because DC is so poor right now, like, financially speaking. They need to consolidate so many resources to, like, get the budget to make a movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Can you get the next tiny little one? Because I'm going to do the big one.
Oh. Amazon Prime released a teaser trailer for Invincible Season 2, streaming late 2023.
Did you watch it? Have you seen
I
it?
didn't see the trailer yet, but I am very excited. Because it's drawn by a porn artist.
I was about to say.
Okay, so I think it's funny that this seems to be almost either just because the shows that I watch are doing this more, or this is a trend where trailers have not become trailers anymore. They have become hey, here's some clips, and guess what? You're going to get another season, but we're not going to make like an actual trailer, but we're telling you, new season. Because
Yes.
they did that with Harley Quinn.
Yeah, no, it's a very frequent thing, whereas like a lot of our trailers have just become. I hate to say trailer is an advertisement because they're all advertisements, but like there's kind of no effort put into it.
Yes, that's
Whereas
what I'm
I
saying.
like that it's not none of that's footage from the show. It's just we gave one guy $100 to make a thing that says, "Hey, more shit's coming," and here's a little jokey thing. You know, it's cute. I like it. I just like the fact that like they're very open about the fact. Yeah, like we hired like a not safe for work artist for this. It tracks. I think it's
I'm gonna
funny.
look 'em up.
I'm looking forward to the show. It's been 2 years, I think. It's been 2 years. It might have been 3 years.
Came out in
I think it was 21. I think was it 20? Oh, okay, so it's been 3 years. Never
I
mind.
think so.
Damn. Very much looking forward to it. It's just been so damn long. Okay, we got the big one, the big shit. The one everyone's been waiting for, the big thing, from DC.com.
I shit my pants.
I pulled all of this information from 3 different articles, a Twitter post, and James Gunn's official video. So this is a lot of information. I did the best thing I could. DC Studios co-chairman and CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran announced plans for their first 10 film and television projects under the new DC banner they lead across film, television, and animation. I think we've gotten lucky with the next 4 movies because we have Shazam, which leads into Flash, which resets everything, which then goes into Blue Beetle, which is totally disconnected from everything that came before and can be a part of the DCU, which goes into Aquaman, which leads into Superman Legacy, our first big project, he explains. It's James Gunn. But the one thing that we can promise is that everything from our first project forward will be canon and will be connected. We're using some actors from the past, we're not using other actors from the past, but everything from that moment forward will be connected and consistent. As we craft the plan for DC Studios, we are thrilled to share with fans the first 10 stories they can expect from the unified DC universe, featuring some of our most well-known characters as well as the next generation of marquee characters, said Safran. Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, tells cohesive stories that highlight love, compassion, and the innate goodness of the human spirit, all designed to minimize audience confusion and maximize audience engagement across platforms. Many of the following projects are already being worked on, but we're remaining flexible and we're going to adjust because we're never going to put a project into production before the script is right. This is a general timeline, but there will be flexibility within it. The DCU is a multiverse, but we're going to be focusing on one universe from that multiverse, explains Safran. And if something isn't DCU, we're going to make that very clear. So strictly adult fare, like Todd Phillips' Joker, or kids animation, like Teen Titans Go, we're going to make it very clear that those are DC Elseworlds, just the same way that they do it in the comic books. Here is the slate and information for each project. Creature Commandos. It is an animated television series. James Gunn says, the first series that we're doing, and I've already written the entire series, is Creature Commandos. It's an animated TV series, and this is they show some art from the animation company that is doing it. Creature Commandos is based on a great team from DC. Next is Waller, a live-action television series. James Gunn says, Viola Davis is coming back as her character Amanda Waller. This is also going to have some of the Peacemaker team in it as regulars on the show. This basically follows up Peacemaker. We have 2 great creatives working on it, Crystal Henry, who is a writer on Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol TV show. They have this incredibly marvelous story worked out that I think is really fantastic. Peter Safran adds, this series will sit between Peacemaker Season 1 and Season 2. The next project is Superman Legacy, a live-action film. Safran said, this is really the launch of the DCU. The first 2 projects are an amuse-bouche for what's coming up with Superman Legacy. James is currently writing it. We're hoping that he will direct it. It is not an origin story. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. Superman represents truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks of kindness as old-fashioned. Gunn adds, with our stories, we want to take it away from good guys versus bad guys. There are really good, almost saintly people, and Superman is among them. Among us. There are really terrible villains like Gorilla Grodd or the Joker, and then there's everybody in between them. So there are all these shades of gray which allow us to tell complex stories. Safran adds, and we have a release date, July 11th, 2025. The next project is Lanterns, a live-action TV show. Safran says, our next project is another TV series. We call it Lanterns, and it is starring 2 of our favorite Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. It's going to be with HBO Max, as all of our series are that we're going to talk about today. It is more of a true detective-style mystery with our 2 lanterns, a terrestrial-based mystery, and Gunn continues, this leads into the overall story that we're telling throughout the different movies and television shows. We find this ancient horror on Earth, and these guys are basically super cops on Precinct Earth. Safran continues, the story is going to weave back and forth between the films and the television shows. Peacemaker is a good example of how that works, and that's what we're going to do with this big overarching story that we're telling. The next project is The Authority, a live-action film. Gunn says, this is one of my real passion projects. I've been working really hard on it with the writers, and we're starting to put together the entire story. This is a really...
I need to read that.
Yes. This is a really big movie. I don't know how many of you are familiar with The Authority. They're Wildstorm characters. Wildstorm was a comics imprint that was bought by DC that I really love. We're moving a lot of these Wildstorm characters into the DCU. The Authority's a very different kind of superhero story. They are basically good-intentioned, but they think that the world is completely broken and the only way to fix it is to take things into their own hands, whether that means killing people, destroying heads of state, changing governments, basically whatever they want to do to make the world better. We'll see how that journey goes for them. The next project is Paradise Lost. It is a live-action television series. Safran says, this is a Game of Thrones type story about Themyscira / Paradise Island,
Oh.
home of the Amazons and the birthplace of Wonder Woman. This involves all of the darkness, drama, and political intrigue behind this society of Whammon. Gunn goes on, it is an origin story about how this society came about. What does it mean? What are their politics like? What are their rules? Who's in charge? What are the games that they play with each other to get on top?
Hot.
I think it's really exciting. Safran continues, the events take place before Diana's birth. The next project is The Brave and the Bold, a live-action film. Gunn says this is the introduction of the DCU's Batman. It is not Robert Pattinson. It is not Ben Affleck. We're working with Robert on...
Batman and Robin.
We're working with Robert on the Batman Part 2 with Matt Reeves, and we're working with Ben Affleck, who has been a part of our team trying to bring things together, and he really wants to direct one of our projects. We're excited for him to do that. This is a story of Damian Wayne, who's Batman's biological son that he didn't know existed for the first 8 to 10 years of his life. He was raised as a little murderer and assassin. He's my favorite Robin. It's based on the Grant Morrison comic run, which is one of my favorite Batman runs. We're putting it all together right now. Safran continues, this is going to feature other members of the extended Bat family, just because we feel like they've been left out of the Batman stories in the theater for far too long.
I don't know how I feel about this.
The next project is Booster Gold, a live-action TV series. Safran says, a total fan favorite, as you know, a loser from the future who uses his basic future technology to come back to today to pretend to be a superhero.
Yep.
Gunn continues, I think of it as basically the story of a superhero's imposter syndrome. How do you deal with that? It's about how he tries to use this future tech to be beloved by the people of today and what is really at the base of that. It is a character story that's going to be a very different type of show, and we're talking to an actor about it now. It's Henry Cavill. I'm joking. The next project is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, a live-action film. Gunn says this is based on Tom King and Bill Quist-Evely's wonderful comic. Tom has been one of the architects of this entire situation. He's been one of the guys in the room with us along with 4 or 5 other writers. I love his take on these characters. He just turns them slightly to be something very unique. In our story, we have a Superman who is sent to Earth and raised by incredibly loving parents. Kara was on Krypton. She was on a piece of Krypton that drifted away from the planet, and she lived there for the first 14 years of her life in a horrible situation where she watched everyone around her die. So she's a much harsher and more fucked up Supergirl than you've been used to thus far.
Hot.
The final project, Swamp Thing, a live-action film.
Hot.
Safran says, the final film we wanted to talk about is Swamp Thing. We bring it up because it's important to point out that all these stories, although they are interconnected, they are not tonally the same. Each set of filmmakers brings their own aesthetic to these films, and the fun is seeing how these tonally different works mash up in the future. This is a film that will investigate the dark origins of Swamp Thing. Gunn continues, we are actually developing a few other things as well, but for one reason or another, we can't say them. This is the first batch of stuff, but there may be a couple of surprises to come. I have a list of assorted tidbits of further information that they said on top of this. The goal is to release 2 films and 2 TV shows per year. The door is open, is the phrase they used, for Gal Gadot, Zachary Levi, Jason Momoa, and Ezra Miller to return to their roles in future projects.
Huh?
Miller, Safran, and Gunn are committed to Ezra Miller's recovery and will discuss their future in the DCU when Miller feels ready. Jace Momoa is not going to be playing two characters, cough, cough, Lobo. He is interested in the role of Lobo, but it is too early for those details to be decided. Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman film is still moving forward as an Elseworlds film. Some DC animated films and shows are continuing as Elseworlds stories. Some things in pre-development may be brought into the DCU in the future. Gunn and Safran had input on The Flash, but they did not have to do anything in order to set up the new DCU. Andy Muschietti, the director of The Flash, has a future in the DCU and will be working on future projects. Superman in Superman Legacy will be roughly 25 years old. The Batman Part 2 is releasing in cinemas October 3rd, 2025. Tom King, Crystal Henry, Christina Hodson, Drew Goddard, and Jeremy Slater have been involved in the writer's room for the announced and unannounced slate. And a nice quote I thought to end the whole kit and caboodle. Even though this is all a connected universe, it's really important to me that the individual writers and characters on the project give their own self-expression to it, just like they do in the comics. Everything doesn't always have to look the same. Everything doesn't always have to have the same expression. Different artists bring remarkably different looks, feels, and tones. This is not the Gunverse.
This is not the Gunverse?
That's what he said.
Why?
I'm going to kill you.
What?
Did you listen to any of the words I said before that?
No.
This isn't James Gunn's DC Universe. It is DC Universe with assistance from James Gunn, who is working on some projects. But they are going to be bringing in other people to do the rest of the projects, so we have a wide variety of people doing different things differently.
This is the DC Universe.
Correct.
Yeah.
We got a release date for the Batman and an official title. It's called Part 2. Incredible
Wait,
work.
it's officially just called Part 2?
Yes.
Come on! Come on! Ah!
So, effectively, it is like a 90% soft reboot. There's a little bit of carryover because there's some actors they want to work with, or the movies kind of just fit. So, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker,
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
stuff is still staying the same.
Yep.
I find it interesting, that's why I kind of led with it, is how James Gunn described the canonicity of a couple of the movies that are still coming out now. Is the Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 come out after The Flash, and he is explicitly saying that Blue Beetle is going to be in continuity, and Aquaman 2, I have a theory about how that ties into The Flash, because there's been so much stuff behind the scenes on how that and Aquaman 2 and The Flash both have two different Batmen and all sorts of crazy stuff with that. So I think those are they're like two parts of the same movie, I think, personally. I'm scared because Superman is going to be the same age as me in 2025. And it makes me feel very old.
Oh.
Dude, we're going to be 25 in 2025.
Bruh.
It just feels so weird, man. So the general vibe, which I before, instead of specifics for each project, because that's a whole conversation and a half, my general take on it is I understand why he went with it's a mostly hard reboot, like when DC does reboots. It's like there's always a little bit that carries over because there's some stuff that works and there's some stuff they don't want to waste, and I get that. I think they're clearly designing the slate to make money before they can do anything. It sounds like a kind of an obvious one. So the first thing is it's an animated TV show.
Yeah. Which actually I'm kind of interested in.
The style looks really good. And it's
looks
a
cool.
very weird lineup of characters.
Yeah.
Also Rick Flag's dad, in the same yellow shirt, which I think is
Also,
fun.
I'm pretty sure that's Weasel in there.
No. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Whatever.
It takes place in like World War II or whatever the fuck. Some bullshit.
Yeah, Weasel could probably be like forever existent. I would love that. Oh. Okay.
I think it is a smart decision to plan it like this because they start off with an animated TV show, which is obviously cheaper. And then Waller is basically Peacemaker season 1.5, which is a fairly low budget show for like a superhero TV show. I think they need to build steam. I think that's what they're kind of saying with the way that their slate is set up, is because of WB's financial woes and managerial issues, I think they need to build momentum to like get to the point where they can make, the Superman movie with the big fat budget. That's just basically a theory, and that's also why I think they're not announcing projects with the previous actors that I said the door is open for, but they're not announcing projects for. I think is one probably because they do want to give the actors an opportunity to effectively make their case for like Shazam. Like, do you think that doesn't fit in this universe tonally with what they're describing it as? Do you think that doesn't fit? Like, that makes sense that could carry over pretty easily. But I think they want to avoid locking them in. Also, Gal Gadot, I think, just gave birth again. Like, because there's so much stuff going on with these people, I think they want to wait until the current batch of movies is released, like Aquaman 2, and then they're like, you guys can come back if you would like. We'll make projects for you effectively, but we're not gonna... Oh, that is Weasel. Okay. That is Weasel.
Yeah!
I think it's a wise business plan on that front. I think it's a good thing because it avoids attachment to a lot of the actors, and that's why the Themyscira TV show is set. There's no Wonder Woman in that show. It's like that gives them years to decide if they want to recast, and if they need to recast, it gives them time to find another person to do the role.
Yeah, and they could wait those years because she is forever young.
That too, and that's the thing. It's despite I appreciate that from a planning sense. It just makes sense of we need a minute to breathe. We need 2024, the year where fucking Waller, Creature Commandos, and it's a chill year before it ramps up. I just think it's a smart plan, and obviously this isn't the full slate because I'm sure half of those projects are in production. But because
I think I saw what you were saying on Twitter. You responded to a Twitter reposted it, but it was a TikTok.
Twitter's been a nightmare lately.
Where this dude's like, "Come on, Matt Reeves, where's Batman 2? It's already been a year. Where's the other? Have you seen that?" I remember seeing them how old are you?
Do you know how long
You're
movies take?
50 or 40 or something, and you still are so ignorant and don't understand how these things work.
Yeah, it takes time. It's like with the Snyder cultists trying to have Netflix buy DC bullshit. Do you not know how movies are made? You just don't know, do you? He doesn't know. Does he know? I love that meme. I don't know. I appreciate the variety of the lineup that they announced so far, that it's not focusing on the heavy hitters so much. There is a Batman and a Superman project, but they're not the focus of it. I just think that's cool. And I
do like how we're coming back into a universe where it is lived in.
Yeah.
It's going to be lived in.
That's always a cool thing. Because Superman it's not an origin story, but he is still young. It's it's just got that. It feels like it's an actual, comics actually coming to life, that phrase, because we're kind of jumping in the middle of stuff, and some characters you've seen before, but they might not have, say, there's another Aquaman movie with Jason Momoa. They might not acknowledge that the other movies happened. They just want to keep the actor in the role. Or the same thing with Gal Gadot or whatever. It's that makes sense. It's you'll see some familiar faces, but in different places. That's something that everything post New 52 has kind of been like that, where it's they shift so much stuff around, but it's but I can still see who's there, behind the mask, If that makes any sense at all.
I guess so.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it really demonstrates how rough DC's doing when this was announced over a Twitter video and a room in a hotel was where the presentation was made. It's not any fault of the people working on it. It is just damn, WB really is fucking up. Really bad. So, it is cool. I like that we're keeping some stuff. I think when the rumors about all this stuff started up a few months back, it was up, everyone's speculating oh, is James Gunn gonna erase his own work? It's no, of course he's fucking not, you idiot. That doesn't mean it's an ego trip. It's well, people liked it, and the stuff that he's worked on has been really disconnected from the rest of the DCU, and duh, of course he is. So it just makes sense. It's nice. It's cool. Obviously, there is soft confirmation that Peacemaker Season 2 is still happening at some point, so it seems like a cool slate. We got a fucking Swamp Thing, bro.
Yeah, I know.
A live action
Swamp
movie.
Thing again.
What?
Oh, I'm so excited.
And they're
It's so funny that that's one of the things that they chose first.
I love that. And one of the cool things, just of note, and you've seen it all over the place. They're pushing the books so hard right now. One, of course, because WB needs money, but the fact they're openly stating these are our influences for this movie or this TV show. Go buy them. They're going, okay, so you're looking forward to Superman Legacy? Well, All-Star Superman exists. This is the book we're taking a lot of our inspiration from. It's written by Grant Morrison. It's great. Go buy it.
Are you excited about this Batman?
Then
book?
go read the Grant Morrison books.
Read the Grant Morrison.
They're pushing the books so hard, and they're selling out like crazy. Like, you can't get the Authority Omnibus right now. It's sold out.
Come on! You know how fucking bullshit that is? You know how stupid that? Because that shit was on Jetpack. On the wall, be like, hey, you guys should check this out, you should check this out. And then the first minute that we hear that we're getting an Authorities movie, it's gone now? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
How about you movie people stay away from my fucking comic books? Stay out of my fucking comic book stores, bitch.
You're retarded. It's the same thing. DC's been doing it a little bit with their past few movies. Like, I mean, Black Adam, but they also did it with the Batman, where there's like a little box.
Yeah.
These are our influences. It's a cool box. Like, it's nothing special. But
I was okay with that because I already had those books.
This is the, like, you know, Marvel, the MCU, is really notorious for, like, not contacting the, like, people who made or worked on these characters at all. They don't pay them for anything of their work. It's, like, cringe. Like, this sounds like this is the start of, like, DC acknowledging the stuff a lot more, because clearly James Gunn's, like, a big old comic retard, you know? So it's, like, it feels right intuitively. It's like, go buy the books that they're based on if you want to learn more. Go buy Woman of Tomorrow. It's great. It came out, like, last year. I also like that they announced the writer's room for, like, all the people working on this stuff, like the overarching plans, not necessarily the script writers for each movie. That's cool. Also, it's cool that there's a comic writer in there. That's nice. I mean, that's another good example of, like, they might keep an actor, but they might not. Supergirl isn't... That's, like, project 9 of 10, and that's only the first half of the slate. There's an actor playing her in The Flash. So it's, like...
Maybe
so it's
we'll
up...
get her, maybe
right, so it's
won't.
like, maybe it'll be a new actor. They probably don't. That's the thing I'm getting from this, is I genuinely think they don't know yet, and that's fine. They're like, we don't have... Like, this isn't set in concrete. We're not the Marvel machine. We can't say we're going to do this thing 8 years from now, and then every day we're working on it. So it's like, no, we got to, like, chill the hell out and, like,
pretty much.
focus on stuff. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, it's bad.
Bro.
It's bad.
I want this Batman to have a blue and gray outfit.
No.
With the... Yes. Dude,
Oh my god!
dude, have you seen how Dan Mora draws Batman? I want it. I want it so bad.
Come on, blue and... No.
I'm tired of the black and gray, man.
Why?
I love it, but, like, get some goddamn variety in here. Do the Superman. Put the trunks on him. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, yeah. Then let's get Batman with
the
purple
trunks.
gloves.
I'm down.
Come on.
Yeah. Like, come
Purple
on.
gloves, black and gray.
In this very weird world they're constructing, I think they're just going, fuck it, you know? Like, they don't, there's no attempt at, like, cohesion between projects in terms of tone. And I think that's the kicker. It's like, they connect to a thing. We're doing a thing. We're not going to tell you what the team-up movie is, but, like, we're doing a thing. It's probably going to be a Justice League Dark project. I swear to God. It just smells like it. But, like, they're like, we're going to do a team-up. But, like, we don't give a fuck if some of these things are rated R and some of them aren't. Like Waller is going to be like Peacemaker. They're going to be saying fuck all over the place. But, like, Superman's like, no, you can, like, bring your 12-year-old to this. It's a Superman movie, you know? I'm tired. This announcement did make me happy, though. It was fun to watch.
I'm tired of keep talking about this. I've talked about this for like a week solid with coworkers. So,
what have you been doing, sir? Do you got?
What have you been doing, sir?
I was just talking for like a while. My voice hurts. Give me a minute.
That's fine.
What you been doing?
I recently watched. Shit. Which one? Oh, here we go. I'm excited to talk about this. Actually.
Oh boy.
Let me pull up a synopsis.
You getting excited is dangerous. Damn, bro, you do be rumbly.
I do be rumbly. All right. Here we go. I watched 1961's Yojimbo.
What?
A nameless ronin, or samurai with no master, Toshiro Mufene, enters a small village in feudal Japan where two rival businessmen are struggling for control of the local gambling trade. Taking the name Shanjiro Kawabatake, yeah, sure. The Ronin convinces both silk merchant Taizamon and sake merchant Takuman to hire him as a personal bodyguard, then artfully sets in motion a full-scale gang war between the two ambitious and scrupulous men. This is on HBO Max.
So this is
I am very
live action movie, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
I am very certain that this is what inspired the manga Vagabond, because the actor the Vagabond main character looks like the actor from Yojimbo.
Yeah.
I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But
You're white. We know. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. It's a black and white.
Yeah, color wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah. Ronin movie. And I really enjoyed this. So, I was watching to make sure if, not make sure, but I was watching out of curiosity for this movie for, what are the words I'm looking for? To see if it, did certain movie quirks, as in, the 10-second rule, that each shot shouldn't hold longer than, 10 seconds. And I would do that, and surprisingly, it did that, even though it's an older movie. And I was like, okay, and it's also a foreign movie.
Fucking Zoomer brain.
Sure. How do I? Wow, I do this every single time. I don't understand.
You don't.
It's a good fucking movie. I mean, I did the synopsis. It's a good fucking movie. This Ronin acts like he's a dick. He has rice all the time, and he drinks sake, and he goes to this dude. I don't even know. He hangs out with this old guy, and I don't even know what he sells. But he lives right next to the man who makes coffins, and that guy is booming with business because people are killing each other left and right. And so he hangs out with the dude that lives right there, and he's like, old man, sake, or old man, rice. And he just gives him rice out of whatever, blah, 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 blah. You want to pay for that? Blah, blah, blah. And eventually does pay for it, but it's kind of like a I don't even know how to explain it. It doesn't repeat itself. It does keep going. It has there's constant change in this movie. He helps this family that is the wife, the mother of that family was taken by one of these gang lords and used as his little fuck pet, and the husband is too much of a fucking bitch to go after her, even though they all have fucking swords. It's not that hard, and all the gang members suck.
I would love to watch you try to kill a gang member
with a sword.
I would.
Suck.
Colin, I want you to go find the Yakuza, and I want you to try to.
No, that's the Yakuza. Are you kidding me? These guys are just fucking retards. One of them is an actual retard. You gotta watch this. It's this fat dude. He's one of the the brother of one of the gang members, and he's always got an underbite. He's and his face is that. It's not like that. And he's got a huge unibrow and shaved that weird Ronin haircut. But yeah, he the husband and the son are in a little tent outside of the house that used to be theirs, and she is kept in the house that was theirs. He lost it to a gambling debt, lost her and the house to a gambling debt. I'm like, wow, what a fucking cuck.
Moral of the story: avoid women.
Yeah, pretty much.
You won't have these problems.
And at the very end of this movie, after all this happens, he's basically asked, "Oh, what will you do?" And he's like, "Oh, it's time for me to leave," and he leaves the town. He's just done with it now.
Strange.
It's kind of like a Western in the way of that.
Do I have to say the thing?
Monster comes into town. Monster fixes things. Monster leaves town because he's monster.
Well, yeah, but like Westerns get it from samurai movies.
Yes, I know. And I noticed that. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
So what prompted you to dig through the back catalog of like old samurai movies to just? How did you get there? How did you get to this conclusion?
It just showed up.
The poster looked cool.
It just fucking showed up. I don't know. My taste in stuff, it's like that. It'll just show me old ass shit like that. It'll just come up. Like I have 47 Ronin right now. I'm working on that.
It's not great.
I know it's not great.
Keanu Reeves is great, but that's not saying anything.
Do
not
talking about the old.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, I'm not talking.
It's fine. You never know, man.
I'm not talking about that. You're dumb. I'm talking
You're
about
dumb.
47 Ronin Part 1.
Yeah, no, that's good actually.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go for that other one. But before you rudely interrupt. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of does that to me. It just shows up and I'm like, oh, cool, this will be on my list. Like I have a black and white Hamlet on my list right now. It's a shit ton of black and white actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. What have you been consuming, Spencer, son?
Your poopy butthole.
I'm not surprised.
I read Dark Ages. It is.
What's that?
It's about what you're going to be seeing in a second.
Huh?
It is a Marvel out of continuity story. It's a 6-issue trade written by Tom Taylor with art by Iban Chuelo. I have no clue how to say your name. I'm so sorry. It is. But what if Marvel did like a deceased book, basically? Pretty much. Tom Taylor has this weird thing. Like, this is his thing. Is like, what if a timeline was bad, actually? Like, that's his favorite thing. I don't get it. I get it because he writes good stuff, but it is weird that that's, like, his thing. So, there's a bad, big demon man inside planet Earth, right? You know? Yeah. So, Earth's an egg, or whatever. Big bad demon man is like, I will make all the darkness be a thing. It's the villain's shit.
All the darkness. Dark is.
It's a shit villain. But the point is, he's an eternal EMP. So like most technology just dead. Like, and then there's time skips. So it's a post-apocalyptic world where like they've returned to analog technology. Spider-Man's web shooters involve like compressed air.
Nice.
It's crazy stuff. The plot in and of itself is fine. It's like, oh shit, we found the thing that can defeat the guy. We'll go take a boat across the ocean to go defeat him. You know, the villain's fine. He suits the story in terms of he makes the weird setting happen, so it's fine, I guess. Damn. He hungry. The art is gorgeous. It's got some Mark Bagley vibes to it, kinda. It's just really, really gorgeous. It's really high quality, like detailed line work. Not like they do so much cross hatching. It's like they're just thorough in like how they do their lines. It's consistent. There aren't just a lot of like random panels where it's like that face doesn't look quite right. You rushed that, didn't you? There's like none of that. The art is really good. The character designs, some of them aren't great, but most of them are really cool and unique. Like Spider-Man's outfit as a like 35-year-old dad is great. It's just the weirdest shit, man. I like weird. What if the continuity was different and we made the outfits look funny? Like in Deceased, it's like, well, what if Damian Wayne wore the bat suit? Like, how would he change that to suit his needs? You know, that stuff's cool. I think this book nails one of the things that I have a bit of a hankering for. Strong character voices. Like, I can hear the character in my head when I'm reading it. I'm like, that sounds right. Just an intuitive gut thing. It's a mostly Spider-Man focused book, but it's a bit of everybody. Spider-Man, Wolverine, more X-Men, Fantastic Four, etc. Doctor Doom, lots of fun stuff.
You good there? You got a lot of gas coming out of your chest.
I wish there was more. I feel like Marvel basically wanted to do this as a gimmick. Because, like, a shit ton of people die. Like, there's crazy shit. Miles Morales is Venom. It's a whole thing. He gets both Carnage and Venom symbiotes, and Peter's like, my dude, what are you doing? And then he rips him out, and then, they're friends again. Like, there's so much weird shit in this book.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, the last 2 issues of Spider-Man Life Story where, like, they just smush so many weird things into, like, one character. And you're like, I appreciate that you're putting all of the characters in here, but it is weird that you put them together. Like Kraven being Venom. It's like, that's a weird way to do it.
I kind of liked that.
I liked it, but it's got that vibe to it where you're like, this is a weird way to go. I don't like the fact that, like, Marvel definitely was like, we'll just do, like, a thing, and then Tom Taylor put his whole Tom Taylor-Russi into it, and it's, like, for one book that no one's gonna read again. I just think that's disappointing. It's a single 6-issue trade.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
A lot of things. I just think that's disappointing. It was really good. Like I said, minor gripes, and the villain being lame was really gay. But the rest of it was great. It looked good. It was fun. For instance, say Storm, Weather Lady, she, like, controls the ocean to carry boats across the ocean. So, like, she's like the ferryman.
Oh, that's kinda cool.
Like, cool shit like that, where you're like, I never would have thought of that, because, like, the boats don't work anymore. Like, the steam and coal-powered engines are non-functional. It's not just an EMP, so no electricity. It's, like, kind of most technology is just fucked. It doesn't make sense. Don't question it. It's just fun.
How the fuck is compressed air?
You can make compressed air. It's really hard. Don't ask me how to do it, because I don't know. But, like, it just does that thing where it's like, Iron Man's armor is like a bunch of canisters and string attached to him. Like, it's not even like, it's this weird shit, man. Oh yeah, Iron Man dies. Because of course.
Whatever.
It's a really weird book. It's hard to describe. There's just a lot of individual strange choices. It was $20. I think it's worth it. I bought it at Jetpack. It's got some really great covers, honestly. Just a good cover game. The Parker girl is adorable. She's a little shit, like any good Parker child.
Like any good Parker
She
child.
gets that Mary Jane energy where she's like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm 6, but I'm an adult now. Real cool. What else you got for me, Bucko?
So I recently read and finished Berserk number 3. So it took me a while to get back to this because this is a point in the manga where I found it also to be just as boring in the movies. This is a point where the kingdom that the Band of the White Hawk is fighting for, they kind of like eventually found one kingdom that they work for, which happened in like book, I'm gonna say 2 or 3. Okay. Anyways, so the Band of the Hawk, they are trying to recapture a kingdom, a fortified castle that was originally owned, or originally in the possession of the kingdom that they are working for. But this castle that they are trying to reclaim is in possession by this creepy old man that likes little boys.
Ew.
That knows Griffith, and
Ooh.
Griffith got most of his funding from. I'm probably spoiling some things for you, actually. Just realized.
I know most of the story of Berserk. Sad for me, I know, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. And this old man is like how Griffith gets funding for the Band of the Hawk, how they get food, rations, all this shit.
It's his sugar daddy.
Basically, they retake the castle by tricking the front line, basically the entire army that's there at that castle, to leave the castle, because this castle is up against a mountain range. There's like no way to get around it, basically. But they tricked them into leaving that castle to fight on the shoreline, and then Casca and her little group intercept the castle through the front gate by just basically getting in. Simple as that. And it's funny reading this and knowing that the movies did, and I actually think that the movies did a lot of the shit way better, like explained it way better, or like change some things. Because I remember, I think in the movie how they got in was that they actually captured a captain and got them in that way, and like did a little secret hidey thing instead of just like being able to get in somehow, because the gates were just still open and the guards suck like the manga did. But after that, Griffith kills that old man because he doesn't need anything in his life that's going to ruin his reputation, because he's not really gay unless if it's for guts or if it's for money. $20 is $20.
$20 is $20.
That's Griffith. That is literally Griffith. $20 is $20.
He's a little bit of a...
Oh, he's a twink and a half.
He wears the maid outfit.
Yeah, he's a twink. For real. And moving on from that, they have this like celebration in the castle, and they're being told that they're going to be nobles eventually, and blah blah blah. But Guts doesn't care, and he's like hanging out on the sidelines, and they're the whole like captains of the main characters basically are the captains of the Band of the Hawk, and they're there at the celebration, not the Band of the Hawk. The Band of the Hawk is the whole fucking army. So the captains are being told that they're going to be basically nobles by the king. There's a bunch of uproar. Some people like little making rumors about it, blah blah blah. They're talking about how things are stupid. They shouldn't happen like that. And then most of them are wondering, hey, where's Casca? And then Casca is in this crazy beautiful white dress, and she looks gorgeous, and she's normally doesn't wear dresses. She's always like in men's armor and men's clothes. That definitely doesn't look like men's clothes, even though it looks like female armor and shit like that, but they say it's men's clothes, but it's not men's clothes. She sees Guts, and she runs away from all these people that keep talking to her, and she takes Guts, and she's like, you're coming with me, we're dancing, because I don't want people to talk to me. And he's just like in his brain like, oh, she's so beautiful, wow, this is crazy, but I gotta think about how I'm gonna leave the Band of the Hawk tonight. They have their moments, and they actually have like a really deep conversation, and it's really nice. I like the manga a lot more for this reason, specifically where Casca and Guts, you actually get to see a lot more of their relationship and their character development rather than in the movies. It's kind of like implied, or even in the anime, I would think. But fast forward after they kill the queen. They kill the queen because the queen doesn't really love her husband, because she actually had an affair with the uncle, the king's brother, because the king just didn't want to have sex and she wanted to fuck, and so she fucked the uncle, and then the uncle died, and so she saw him as her lover, and then she knows that Griffith got him killed, so she wants to kill Griffith, but then Griffith does a whole bamboozle and gets her and all these people that were like a secret society and gets them burnt in this building, and it gets seen as a just as like a strike from another kingdom, because Griffith was previously had a drank something that was laced with like some type of poison and passed out and shit like that. Blah blah blah. Fast forward, Guts is leaving, and everyone's trying to stop him. Kind of everyone's trying to stop him. There's Rickert is the youngest. He doesn't want him to leave, but I can't remember. There's Pippin. Pippin's hanging out. He's just like, okay, he doesn't really talk much anyways. He's just kind of there. There's another one that he's a jack of all trades character. He's blonde and whatever, but he like actually talks to Guts and wants to know what's going on, and accepts his decision to like leave the Band of the Hawk. He's like, yeah, this kind of sucks, but like you want to find your thing in life. You want to find your abstract, like, this is my dream. And but at the very end, when they finish walking away from the kingdom at this like tree, there's the rest of the band of the Hawk Captains, which is Griffith, Pippin, Rickert, this fucking retard-looking dude. I can't remember his name. He's a dickhead. And then we also have Casca. They all talking and retard dudes like, I never liked you anyways. Pippin doesn't say a word. Casca's like, you can't leave. And then Griffith is like, oh, did you forget? I own you. I told you that I own you. And the only way that you're going to be able to get out of this is by fighting me in a sword fight. And it's like, okay, little twink. Yeah. Okay, little twink. And so they get ready, they have a fight, and it's happened so fast. Griffith strikes, goes for a blow to like reenact what they did before in their first ever fight. And because that's how he beat him. Guts just breaks Griffith's fucking sword. Because Guts' sword is humongous, and Griffith has like a little poker. And he breaks the sword, and has the sword like right on his shoulder. He's like, he pretty much is like, yeah, that I'm leaving. Bye, guys. And then he like doesn't look away. He doesn't look back at them. He just keeps going. There's a lot more conversations between everyone, blah blah blah, and things like that. But this is like the basic. And then Griffith goes and has a mental breakdown and goes and basically rapes the 17-year-old princess girl that was in love with him, and he goes and has sex with her, and she kind of says no, and then she lets it happen, but also she is still saying no, but he still goes in, and then he does a little self-harm after because he's thinking about Guts, and then. Later that day, he escapes in the morning, but there's a little maid that looked through the keyhole and saw him fucking the shit out of her. And then the next day, a bunch of guards found him. And then he went into the dungeons. And then the king started whipping the shit out of him. It's like, I thought you were something good, but you know, a commoner is still a commoner. And starts whipping the shit out of him. And then Griffith's like, oh, you hate it so much because you wanted your daughter, didn't you? And he's like, oh, preposterous. And then later on, you see him basically trying to rape his own daughter. And then she kicks him in the fucking face. And he's bleeding out of his eye, and he's running away like, ooh, ooh. So that's basically book 3. Yes, that works. Fuck you, Spencer.
No.
Oh, wait. That's the first half of book 3. I'll talk about the second half some other time. Or in my next talking point.
You're a homosexual.
Your turn.
I read Superman and the Authority.
Fuck you!
It is a remnant book from the 5G initiative that was tampered with during its production. And now doesn't mean anything. It's weird. So, the whole DC was gonna make time be a real thing in the DC universe and map it onto real time. Wonder Woman existed for World War II. Superman met JFK. They were gonna put a hard thing on it. This book started being written around then, and then it was screwed around with at the end. So this does lead into the next Superman arc, the Superman being on Warworld stuff with Philip Kennedy Johnson, who finished that recently, but that arc for a year. So it's kind of canon, but you do
get Lois Lane's favorite Superman costume.
So you have to squint at it to make it make sense timeline. You just ignore the parts of it that acknowledge that Superman is getting older and that he met JFK. Just ignore that, and the rest of it makes sense. Basically, the plot of it is Superman's getting older. He's like, I'm getting tired and my powers don't work quite so good anymore. So I'm going to get people to help. I'm going to, give my blessing to a team of superheroes to help me do things because I'm old and I have gray temples and he's really hot. It's gnarly, man.
Oh, what the fuck?
So it's basically just it's the Authority, the team. It's it's a weird lineup, but it's part of the original Authority team and then some other new characters. It's just, hey, I would prefer if you guys didn't kill people, but I do understand in some context, you guys are kind of right. So if you don't go Joker mode, we can
Joker
work.
mode?
Yeah, just don't literally kill everyone, and like we can work together because we have problems to solve, and I need your help.
Just kill some people.
Just when it sure you deem it necessary, but like don't just literally eat babies. And it doesn't really go anywhere, and that's the point. That's the thing with this book it is. I think 4 or 5 issues. It was basically meant as a prelude to a different arc, whereas it doesn't actually go into that arc at all because of all the weird changes with continuity. So it literally, like, the book just stagnates and it doesn't really go anywhere. It's very bizarre in that sense. It was written by Grant Morrison, so the writing quality is 99% impeccable. The dialogue's fantastic. It all makes sense, but it is just like, crap, we have to fill this spot, so we can just pay someone, a very high profile writer, to like fill the void. And then Grant's like, there isn't much to do here. What do you want from me? And then they're like, that's enough, and that's fine. We'll publish it. It's really weird. The art is disgustingly good. The art is by Mikhail Janin. It's the designs are so. It's what the New 52 wanted to be. Not in terms of, like, the New 52's general art design for a few years was, like, not the really early 2010s, like, digital paint feel. Not that. But, like, the way the suits are designed with the lines and, like, but what if we made it look practical with the lines? It's like that, but, like, actually good. Superman, his outfit is, like, basically a nice pair of jeans, a t-shirt with the Kingdom Come logo, and gloves. It's so weird, but it works really well. It's very strange. It's a hard book to describe. There's a little bit of there's some cringe in it, just because I think Grant Morrison was trying to write part of one of the people that they recruit for the group, like, lives inside the internet. Literally, it's really confusing. So there's some weird, like, internet. Damn, this is not going to age well, but whatever. This is just a really weird book. It's the strangest thing I've read. It's by a writer I really like, and a new artist I've never heard of who I love their shit. But I'm never going to read it again. It is incredibly bizarre.
That sounds like so much.
It's like, I'll put it on my coffee table because it looks pretty. It's a $17 book. I'm glad I looked at it. I didn't not enjoy reading it, but I was sitting there, like, I was looking up Grant Morrison's blog, 10 Wikipedia pages. Like, why is this book so weird feeling? What's going on here? So it was interesting to look into. Very strange. $17 is a stretch for that. It took me about 30 minutes to read, an hour if you include the Wikipedia time. So, like, I don't know, half off. I feel it's hard to describe what I think it's worth, because, like, it's so pretty, but also it's like I feel nothing, and I don't know what this is going towards. I'm not a big fan of, like, I only want to read something because it's leading to something, but it's like the story it doesn't actually go anywhere. It's like I want to recruit some people, and then halfway through the book he, like, recruits some people, and then they talk a lot, and then they're like, oh shit, we gotta go do the next arc in the main run, and then they drop this issue starting with this creative team on this date, and it's like, well, what the fuck happened here? Like, even the explanation from Grant Morrison, it doesn't entirely make sense, because one, Grant Morrison's a wacky person, and also there's probably a bunch of, like, legal reasons. There's probably a bunch of, like, legal reasons why, like, there's stuff that they just can't talk about in its entirety. Super fucking weird, man. But Kingdom Come logo, the best. The best. And the gloves kind of worked. It's really weird. He's in dad mode. I don't get it.
Spencer's going to say hot.
What else have you been doing? Correction, this is the best time for me to insert the fact that I hate fan castings, and I hate Snyderverse people being really annoying right now with the new movies, but also, you definitely should have Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill be Midnighter and Apollo. I'm sorry, but it would be so
I know,
funny.
I was thinking that too. That'd be
like,
so funny.
It's like, it would be distracting from the characters, so don't actually do it. But it's like, oh my gosh, if they brought them back and they
I think they should do that.
it'd be so funny.
So I read the other half of Berserk number 3.
Big book.
So Guts, it's been a year. Guts has left. Guts. Hold on, I feel that burp coming up. Oh shit. It's been a year. Guts has left. Guts has been training by the sword and all this stuff, and he's been fighting, training, and he's been hanging out in the mountains, basically, hanging out with this blacksmith and his daughter, and he's been just cutting up these giant ass logs that have been falling from the waterfall that's in the mountains, and that's how he trains every day and stuff like that, and eventually gets on his way to fight just like people at this like tournament. He catches wind that the reason for this tournament is to find the strongest people so that they can hunt down the band of the Hawk for the king. Catches wind, joins them up, and then finds the band of the Hawk, helps them out. Casca's pissed because he left. Guts learns that when he left, Griffith went Joker mode, and they're trying to plan a way to get him out. Guts wants to help, but Casca's like, "Come with me," and like walks away. She gets all pissed, starts swinging her sword at him, and he dodges, blocks, blah blah blah. And they have a whole moment. He lets her stab him. She's like, "Why would you do that? Let me stab you. You always block it. You always dodge it. Blah blah blah." Yeah, it is. It is like that.
Continue.
No, I don't want that. Fucking word. I hate us.
Joker mode.
Or no. Casca and Guts. Then they fuck. Because they're like, "Oh, I realize that I'm in love with you. Let's fuck by this waterfall that's right here." And then Guts has a fucking mental breakdown. He has a PTSD attack. And as he's fucking Casca, he sees Casca as himself, and he's trying to choke the shit out of her because he's like, "You're a weak piece of shit. You let yourself get raped by blah 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 when you were younger." And then he has a whole mental breakdown, PTSD and stuff like that. He can remember what happened to him when he was younger, and Casca comforts him, and she's like, "It's okay, blah blah blah," and they actually talk it out, and they comfort each other, and they talk about how they were each other's firsts and like reasons why, and they have like a fucking healthy relationship with each other, which is surprising for this type of world. And they're meant for each other, I guess. After that, they basically go on this whole trip to find Griffith, and they have like a little insider on who's helping them get to Griffith, figure out where Griffith is, how to get there. They go, basically, they find a graveyard, go into the graveyard. There's a little tunnel. They end up at another graveyard that's in the kingdom that Griffith is imprisoned in. And they find out that their insider is the girl, the princess, because she's in love with Griffith. She's always been in love with Griffith. And she helps them. They find this little this tower that has this giant spiraling staircase that's like goes in like the abyss of under the kingdom, and he's like somewhere in there. She refuses to stay behind, and she wants to go with them. They find Griffith, and they find that he is all fucked up. His tendons are all gone. He's got slabs of meat cut off of him. He's barely had any water. His tongue got cut out. who knows what else happened to him. And I find the jailer who did all this, and they all get locked into the cell because they all walked in. And he's this fucked up little midget dude that's like, and talks like that. It's so nice to have all these people now. And he shows that he still has Griffith's tongue, and he has it like around a necklace. And he's like, "Oh, this is my little tongue, this is my little buddy." He starts licking the tongue,
Ew.
and Guts gets so angry. He starts running out the door, and he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? This thing is reinforced steel. You're not gonna get through." Guts slams his giant ass sword through the wall and like stabs the dude right in the chest. And the dude's like, "Oh no, please don't, please don't!" And then Guts just lets him drop into the abyss. And then all these guards are around. They're like, "Stop them! We have to kill them! Blah blah blah! Get them for the king!" And so Guts goes on a rampage and kills basically all of them super fast as they're going up. Basically, it's just a whole montage, really long montage of Guts beating of killing and slicing the shit out of everyone that encounters them until they escape. And the princess has to stay behind, otherwise they'll be like seen as like government, as basically like kingdom fugitives. Like, you have the princess, no kingdom's going to stop until you guys are dead. So she stays behind, and they eventually get away. But that was also... Oh fuck! I just went into book 4 by accident. Well,
Aw, you dumb fuck.
well, that's also the second half of book 3 and the first half of book 4. You're welcome. Stopping there. They escape,
KYS.
but there's more.
KYS.
I wish I could.
No balls. No balls.
Hi, I'm the CIA. I'm here to kill yourself.
It's true. Sir.
Sir? Madam?
I read Mouse or Moss?
Oh, you finally read it? I was just looking at it. Mouse?
Mouse, I think, is the correct
It's
pronunciation.
Mouse.
So I read this in middle school as part of my school curriculum because my
Whoa,
parents...
I didn't know it was that old.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
never heard of it until it hit Jetpack.
No, the reason why it surged in popularity is because, like, a couple of schools were being really weird and, like, you can't teach kids about the Holocaust. That would be bad for them. And then everywhere was like, nah, fuck you, actually. We're going to buy a bajillion copies of it. No, so this was part of my curriculum when I was younger because my parents are based as fuck. Some days. Basically, it's just a retelling of... It's a son being told stories by his father who survived the Holocaust, told like they are mice. 1, because it's cute, and 2, because it kind of avoids... It helps the tone level out a little bit easier. It's not... They don't, like... They're not, like, anthropomorphic animals, like, in the sense of, like, I don't know, fucking Zootopia or whatever. Like, they're just drawn
It's
like
just human
mice.
bodies with
They're just drawn
the
like
animal
mice.
head.
Yeah, they're like, there is no... We call them mice and cats. It's like, no, they're just people. But because of the wanting to draw the contrast between...
Also, it's nicer so you don't have to, like, if you're drawing, like, humans, like, drawing stereotypical, like, Jews or stereotypical, like, whatevers, you don't have to deal with that problem. You can just draw mice.
Sure. So, it's just the author and artist just asking his father's stories, and then his dad just goes through his life. Just, you know, in this year, I was dating this girl, and she didn't like me, so I dated this other girl, and then I moved here, and it's just his life story. It starts when, you know, he was a kid, and then it ends up in present day, written in, like, the 60s or 70s, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's incredibly simple, because if I start going into the specifics of it, I'm just going to be describing troop movements and genocide, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you'll just be rambling off like I do.
It's weird. But yeah, that's all there is to it. It is a critically acclaimed book for a reason. I think it's well-deserved. The art is phenomenal.
Yes.
It's very... there's a look that I've never been known how to describe it, but you know how when you draw with a pencil and if you zoomed in on the pencil going over the paper, it's not actually really like one straight like a solid
No, it's
continuous
that
like
charcoal.
kind of, yeah. And that's it.
That
It's just
gradient.
black and white with just lines.
Yep.
Nice and simple. Which does mean it can be hard to read in like I only read like one chapter at a time. One, because it's a heavy book. Genuinely, it's a lot of stuff.
I finished that shit in like 3 days, I think.
Yeah, like I broke it up over like a week. And the art can get a little samey if you look at it for too long.
Yeah, I burnt myself out reading that book.
So, yeah. Other than that, like I have no complaints. It's a fictionalized biography done in graphic novel form. It's worthy of all of its awards. It's a wonderful story. It's very moving. It's very rough to read sometimes. It was phenomenal. Like there is so little. It's one of those things where it is such a good work where it's hard to describe anything about it. You know, perfect spherical orb. You can't even get a handle on it. You know.
No.
I bought each trade for $17 at Jetpack. There are 2 editions currently available. There are the 2 halves of the story in 2 small trades or 1 hardcover of roughly the same dimensions. They're not the same size as a big publisher, you know, like Superhero Comics. Most independent publishers with
This thing's like the size of a regular book, actually.
maybe
Like
a regular
the hardcover.
ish.
I have it.
It's independent publishers when they have stories that aren't about fucking superheroes. They do their own unique book sizes. It's what fits with what the artist wanted to do. How do they want it to look on a shelf, and how what were the dimensions of the paper they were drawing on. So. As well worth the $17 each. I bought it brand new. I would like it if it came out in an edition that had different dimensions. It's just a personal peeve of mine. I don't like it when books don't match, but that's a me problem. There is also there's a companion thing coming soon, which is the artist and writer basically analyzing how much like the impact of his own work that his own work has had on like pop culture and like how we teach kids about the Holocaust.
Yes.
Because like it's in a sense it's not just a story and a personal story. It's also kind of a teaching tool. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if that's out quite yet, but I saw it on like Goodreads or whatever, so it might not be quite out yet. But I'm very interested in things like that, like a meta analysis of your own work. I think that's really interesting. Every 30 superhero books I read, I have to break it up with something else. I'm trying to branch out my horizons. I have no opposition to reading other books. It's just they don't catch my eye as frequently. But this is one of the ones that it's been so long since I've read it. It's like, yeah, let's go back to that.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
You know what else is very good?
Ending this show.
Yes. Our patrons over at patreon.com/dimecomicbros network. Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence keep the lights on here. They keep us buying books and all sorts of other fun stuff. So if you would like to help financially support this show, keep us on the air, filling your ears with screeches and monkey noises, you can support us financially. It would be wicked cool. We have different tiers with different rewards, including stickers of various sorts, all designed by Collin, art commissions, pencil sketches. You get your name shouted out on all of our episodes. You get exclusive access to Dime Comic Bros Happy Hour, which is a companion show to this one where we just kind of ramble about random stuff. Life problems, traffic, Batman, whatever it is, while we crack open a drink. You also get early access to this show, as well as our other show, Dime Gaming Bros podcast, which comes out once a month, where Jacob and I go over gaming stuff. We review a couple of games, we talk about the news, we watch a video game movie, which is usually painful. Yeah. So go to patreon.com/Dime Comic Bros Network. If you would like the sources for all of our news this episode, you can go to dimecomicbros.com. There's a page for all of the shenanigans. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram for updates, news, fun little tidbits of random bullshit we get up to.
Fun little titties.
Other, content creators that we like, stuff that we, boost with our tiny platform, video essays and podcasts and whatnot that we enjoy. And tune in next week. Next week is Elektra, Black, White, and Blood. Fingers freaking crossed all 3 of us are going to be here. I will die next week. For real, if I am dead. if I die and I can't attend, I will like actually unalive myself.
Huh?
Come back next week because we'll be talking about a comic book with boobs in it, and Collin will be angry and horny the whole time. It's going to be very funny.
Yes. I like how you instantly like shut the door as I had toothpaste in my hand. Like I was gonna go get ready to like wash up, and you're like, "No, we're recording."
You can
No,
do that
wash
after.
up.
Like your teeth aren't going to get all sweaty during this.
No, they're not. That's not how this works. Oh my word! Shut the fuck up.
I want Jacob to get very
I will
annoyed.
beat the shit out of you. That Jacob texted making a porno or making a podcast.